And so we will lead into his campaign video from last year to introduce him further. Thanks for being with us.
My name is Brian Smith. I'm the morning meteorologist and co-anchor for WDEF News 12 this morning. Also am the meteorologist for WDEF News 12 at noon. The reason why I came to Chattanooga is I grew up as a Boy Scout back in Mississippi. We used to take trips here all the time and go rafting the rivers in Ecoe, going to Lookout Mountain, going to Ruby Falls. Fell in love with the area and wanted to come live here. And also, I enjoy helping people. I've always enjoyed helping people from when I was a child. One of the ways I thought about helping was to be a big brother and also get back to something that helped me when I was growing up, like the Boy Scouts. Being a big brother has been exciting for me. It's been a lot of fun. My little brother, his name is Aaron. Nothing makes me feel better about myself than seeing his big smile, showing him things that maybe he would not normally get a chance to see. I love doing that with him. Plus, it also gives me a chance to be a big kid myself, be that big brother, but also help mentor him, make him realize what the right choices are, what he can do in life, what he can become, and also realize, too, that there are a lot of options for him. Also, too, giving back to the Boy Scouts, what all they gave me, the values, what I learned as being a Boy Scout, I felt I could give back by being a leader. One way of doing that was being a Boy Scout Adventure Crew advisor. A lot of people think I was crazy for doing this, but it's been a lot of fun. Being an advisor is a chance to work with teenagers. They're getting ready to make a major step in their life by getting out into the community, by going into college. And if I could teach them a few things about teamwork, about confidence, I think that I've done a lot. I do this because I think I can help. I think I can make a difference in lives of area youth, keeping them away from some of the bad things that are out there and giving them the right path to choose. I'm Brian Smith, and I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
United Way did a wonderful job making that video. Now, how often do you see this? The speaker walks up and then pulls out his own microphone. Not just because I'm in television, but for some reason, being a weather guy, let's see, we switch over? There we go. Being a weather guy, it's hard for me to stand still and just speak behind a podium here. I have to be out and walking around. And I know many of you guys have been to the TV station and have sat there and watched Rachel and I in the morning and realized that we're back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth. And I guess it's in our blood. But I tell you what, watching that video here, I can't help but just talk about how wonderful my little brother is. I wish he was here tonight, but Mom says that it's going to be a little too late with TCAP testing going on. But he's a great kid, and that smile there, that was not scripted. That's just me talking, and that's one thing I really look forward to every time when I see him. When he's running out to the car, he's always peering out that window and looking to see when I'm going to pull up. And I can't think of the last time I knocked on the door waiting for him to come out. He's bolts right out to the car. So, but also too, when I got the wonderful introduction, I appreciate that. And I think about the times of storm chasing here, and I thought, that would be a great analogy as I look out here in this crowd and see all of you guys that are volunteers. Yeah, I did some storm chasing for about 2 years, and I look at now TV shows on the Discovery Channel, the National Geographic Channel, the Weather Channel, and I look at all those movies like Twister and think, it must be to most folks when they watch this, people stand or wake up in the morning, the clouds form, the tornadoes develop, they get some awesome video, and then that's what the video you see on television. Well, it's not quite like that. They don't really tell you about all the downtime, all the time that you spend just sitting there and waiting for a storm to develop. And I think about one year, it was 1999 when I got a chance to do some storm chasing with my college. We went out to the Midwest, and we had 2 weeks to go out there and chase storms. And we drove 5,600 miles within those 2 weeks. You never knew where you would end up the next day. One day we're in Midland, Odessa, Texas. The next day we're at the border of South Dakota, or maybe driving out towards Denver, or maybe over towards parts of Missouri. And I can tell you this, storm chasing is a lot of fun, but I have tried every single Grand Slam sampler that's at Denny's restaurant. So I could never go back to a Denny's restaurant. And trust me too, truck stop food is not so bad after a while. Okay, it takes a little bit to get used to that. But I think about that, and I think about you guys as volunteers as well. That was a lot of time you had to spend chasing storms. A lot of time you had to wait for those storms to develop. A lot of times that you just got nothing out of all that time that you spent. But even though all that time chasing those tornadoes, you wait for that one last little second. You might only see that tornado for maybe a couple of minutes, enough to get a couple pictures of it. But the excitement of the 10 people that were there with us while we were chasing, it's like okay, all that time cramped up in the van trying to sleep, all that time that we didn't get a chance to take a shower for a couple days, all that was rewarded by seeing that one little tornado. And I know you guys are about the same way, because I know you guys put in so many hours, and even though at the final product there, it might be something that's short-lived, you know that it makes a difference and it's something that you're going to remember forever. Yeah, we spent a long time chasing, but capturing those tornadoes, those hurricanes, and those blizzards, you know, were a lot of fun, even though they didn't last very long. Now I was asked to come up and talk a little bit about why I volunteer. And a lot of people think the reason why I volunteer is it's something that maybe the TV station encourages me to do. If I'm in the public eye or if I'm on television, it only makes sense to go out there and volunteer. And I understand that that could be true. I understand that certainly is a possibility for many. But actually the reason why I volunteer starts way before I ever wanted to be a weatherman. In fact, I'll start when I was an infant. See, when I was 5 months old, my parents were stationed in Germany. I was born in Wiesbaden, Germany. My dad was in the Air Force, and we were there for a couple of years. Well, being overseas, it was a little hard to get some of those booster shots to some of these foreign countries. You know, we had to get our shots at 3 months, 5 months, and I missed that first round. But then the next shipment came with those booster shots, and I was able to receive the proper medication, the proper booster shots that I needed as an infant. But unfortunately, something happened on that day. I got the polio vaccine that was given to me. But in that rare chance, I actually contracted the virus from that vaccine. That's about a 1 in 8.1 million chance that that can happen. And about 95% of those that contract the polio virus only experience flu-like symptoms. About 2.5% of the leftover 5% have a few lung problems, have some struggles with breathing. But 2.5% polio will actually attack the spinal cord and set up paralysis in your arm or in your leg. On that day, when I was 5 months old, polio attacked my spinal cord. This is back in 1977. Most people thought polio was eradicated, wasn't around anymore. And many people today think it's just a shot. It's one of those things that you have to get. Well, on that day, my life changed forever. No, I didn't know it that much back then, but as I grew up, I understood that I was different. My parents, bless them, did everything that they possibly could do for me. They treated me like anybody else. I'd go to daycares, they'd hand me off to the daycare center or pre-K or preschool, and they would say, you know, no special treatment, just treat him like you're going to treat everybody else. Yeah, he's going to be a little slow. It took me a while to learn how to walk. You know, my parents had videos, pictures of me, even at an older age when everyone else is walking around me and I'm dragging my left leg. Soon I had to ride on this little skateboard-looking thing, and I could push myself around. I didn't know any different. You know, I was just having fun on my little roller scooter thing. But then as I got a little bit older, I got into elementary school, and that is when I knew that I was different. I had a big lift on my shoe. I had a big brace that was from my shoe all the way up to my hip, and it was hard for me to get around and walk around. And in fact, even though it's been 33 years later, I still wear a brace. Every time I go out to a school, every time I go out to a public appearance, it's obvious that I have a limp. Every time I stand up in front of public, I have to wear this. This is the brace that I have to wear on air every single day. I can't walk around without the help of this brace. And there are many doctors out there that have never seen anything like that. But again, because we haven't had polio in so many years. But elementary school was really tough because nobody wanted me on their team. I was slow. I couldn't run with the rest of the people, the rest of the kids. Dodgeball, I always got hit first. Wonder why. You know, we play recess out there, and it was hard for me to get up those slides and slide down with the best of them. And then I was entering into middle school. And middle school was tough. That's when we're getting a little bit older. That's when the peers around you are now starting to judge you a little bit different. You start to hang out with certain groups. You start to, hang out with certain friends here, certain friends there. And middle school can be tough. For those of you that have children in middle school, you know how hard it can be on your child. Your body's going through plenty of changes. It's something that is new to them. But also during my middle school years is when something changed in my life. Now, I've got a saying that I love, and I still live by it today. That saying is, others can stop you temporarily, you are the only one that can do it permanently. See, when I was in middle school, I became good friends with a young man named Jason Martin. All right, this kid was fast. He was that athletic kid in the neighborhood, the one that everyone wanted on their team. He could run really fast, he could jump, he could play basketball, he was good at football. Everyone's like, I want him on my team. I want him to be picked first. He's awesome. I know we're going to win if we have Jason on our team. And he became my best friend. We hung out, we did everything that you do when you're 13, 14 years old. But there's something that he did for me that I didn't realize he was doing at the time. See, he used to come over to my house and we'd play basketball all the time. And let me tell you something, when you play someone that's good at basketball, sometimes it's not that fun to lose 21-0, 21-2, 21-4, and I'm like, man, I cannot beat this guy. I mean, he's dunking while he's in 9th grade. He's good. He's really good. And I thought, you know, I'm never going to be able to beat this guy. And I'm thinking back to when I was in elementary school, no one wanted me, and I'm getting kind of bummed out because I can't compete against him. You know, there'd be times when he would leave when we first started doing this, I'd go back to my room and I'd cry. Like, I can't compete against this. Everyone's always going to want someone like him on their team, not me. But later on that summer, things really began to change. See, he would still come over and he would beat me 21-0. He would do circles around me. We'd play football. I remember some of the pickup football games. And we would walk up together, maybe to a brand new crowd, and they're like, all right, well, you cover Jason. I'm like, great, you know. And they'd hike the ball and he'd run out there, and I'm like, hey, wait for me. And he'd catch the ball. But later that summer, he decided to work with me. Didn't really give in, didn't really make things easier for me. He kept playing me just as hard as he ever did. Soon, the scores were 21-6, 21-8. Yeah, getting a little bit better here. Take football, for instance. We would practice playing football. No, I couldn't run down the field like a wide receiver as fast as I possibly could. But he said, you know what? I like to run. Why don't you practice throwing the ball to me? Soon I'm sitting there with the ball, and he's sitting over there on the side, and I rear back, and I just throw it as hard as I could. And he always caught it. He was always running up under it, catching it. It was a beautiful sight. He was awesome, and he made me look pretty good too. But while that was happening, my confidence was building. I didn't know that I was now starting to be happy with myself. Soon, other people in the neighborhood, hey, Brian can throw pretty good. Yeah, he kind of wobbles out there on the field, but hey, he can throw that ball pretty good. Hey, have you seen Brian, the way he shoots the ball? He may not run in and try to do a layup, but he can shoot the three like anybody else I've ever seen. Soon, I was no longer being picked last. Soon, people wanted to be on their team. And I remember asking Jason, I'm like, you know, you had that opportunity to play me at basketball, at football, and just beat me and take the ball and go home. I mean, why waste your time on me? I mean, how can I be a competition to you? And I remember him telling me, if I gave up on you, how are you going to get any better? That's not going to be any fun. I remember that. This is 13, 14 years old. We could have gone inside and played, what did we have back then? Atari? Nintendo? We could have gone in and done that. You know, I was pretty good with my thumbs. But he decided to stay and play with me. My confidence grew. And here I am going into middle school. And at the school that I went to, we had 7th grade all the way to seniors, all in the same school. So here I am, this little weather tot in the middle of school with all these seniors around me. But confidence grew. Soon, because of that summer, because of Jason, I decided to sign up for the football team. And I made it. Soon, I was part of the basketball team. I stayed in Boy Scouts. You know, this guy that has this lift here, that's gone through a couple of surgeries, still has a brace, a little bit smaller by then, is doing hiking, became a lifeguard in Boy Scouts. Followed in my dad's dreams and my dad and my grandfather's footsteps by receiving the award of Eagle Scout at 15 years old. Because why stop now? Got a job at 16. That was my first job at Kmart. I thought, you know, nothing's going to stop me. I'm just like anybody else. But I look back to that summer and think about all the things that Jason did. He went on to college. He went on and played college basketball. Go figure. I went on and played pickup at college. And, you know, he's now in Memphis, and it's great because he is a director of public relations and internet media for the Memphis City Schools. He's got himself a wonderful job, and he's able to interact with kids every day. Since then, our lives have changed. I still keep in contact with him, but now there's a new chapter in my life. Now I still have the support of my parents. I've got support of the Lord. I've got support of my beautiful wife, Rebecca, that I've been married to for 11 years. That's an accomplishment in itself, that she's still with me. But anyway, now I have this new supporting cast. And now I have this opportunity to give back and do some of the same things that Jason did for me. I'll use my little brother Aaron as an example. I just decided to sign up and say, hey, what can I do? Big brothers, big sisters paired me up with a wonderful kid. He's so bright. He's just a wonderful human being to hang out with. But he lacks a little bit of confidence at times, especially when he was 6 years old. I just got him. You know, he was afraid to do a few things. So now I'm able to show him and help him out and say, hey, you know, I may look funny doing it, but I can do it. You can do it too. Same thing with the Boy Scouts, the adventure crew. That's all teenagers. And a lot of them are sometimes not with the popular crew. A lot of them have not had that opportunity to go out and explore the outdoors. I don't know how many times teenagers have told me, there's really not a whole lot to do here in Chattanooga. Are you kidding me? There's so many things to do. And, you know, one of the best times I ever had with the Boy Scouts was one of them, here he is, 16 years old, and he's like, Mr. Smith, you're crazy. And I thought, actually, that's a wonderful compliment. Because I thought, you know what, you must think I'm really, really willing to go out there and do some of those things. And he can look up to that. And, you know, I look at all you guys, and I know every single one of you have a story of your own as to why you volunteer. Mine might be a little unique, but still I think maybe someone had an influence in your life. Whether it's your parents, whether it's a good friend that you have as well. And I look back and I think about my friend Jason, and again, I still talk to him, and I thought he had that opportunity to judge me, to not hang out with me. He had more friends. It wasn't his only friend. He had that chance to make fun of me, ignore me, move on to the next person, but he didn't. And that means so much to me. And now that I have a new supporting cast that are basically the same way, that means a lot to me. Now I can stand in front of a crowd, I can stand in front of my little brother, I can stand in front of so many and say that I got that confidence from those years back when I was in middle school and the supporting cast that I have now. Now I know not to judge someone else. Now I know that I can help somebody else that might be struggling a little bit. I can help somebody achieve their goals that maybe they have set out for them. I could teach them from some of my failures. You know, you've heard the saying many times, you know, you haven't tried unless you failed. Okay, well, I've failed quite a few times, but now I can teach some of those failures and the lessons that I learned. I could tell them that my dream was to come to Chattanooga. My dream was to be a weatherman. You know, and it's funny because when now that we're in this Facebook revolution and Twitter revolution, and who knows what else, it's funny that some of the students and teachers back in elementary school are really surprised. They're like, weatherman? You're in front of the TV camera? You used to whine and cry a lot. It's a bit of a shock there. And, you know, I tell them, you know, I'm happy with what I do. I gained that confidence back when I was a teenager and proud to be able to come up and help out those in the area. But I learned that one lesson from that one saying back then. You know, others around me could stop me temporarily, but on that day, especially back in middle school, I chose not to stop myself permanently. And I know you guys, as volunteers, live the same way. And I can't help but thank every one of you for the time that you give. And for many of us, you know, it's time that you're not paid for. It's gas that you're not reimbursed for. We all know how high gas prices are. So I can't help but thank what you guys do, and also the crowd that's out there, and my supporting cast, what they've allowed me to do. Yeah, I'm proud to wear that shirt, Live United. I'm proud to be part of the Boy Scouts. I'm proud to be a big brother. But I'm also proud that I'm able to get out in public and tell people that there are still quality people like you guys that are out there giving every single day. And for most of you guys are the backbone of this community. We couldn't have the organizations and succeed like we do without the help of you guys. So I want to take this time to say thank you. Thanks.